This is a compilation of the 3 sports games I covered on 6th-gen consoles, and I think these are superior titles to most sports games. Growing up, I was really into basketball. It might have been the only escape from my home that wasn't centered on religion. Psych, I was put in a religious basketball team. Anyway, point being, back then I was really into basketball, so naturally I was interested in basketball games. Specifically street ball. Street ball was just so much more flashy, so stylish. Hell, even in like the regular NBA, my favorite player was Allen Iverson, who's one of the flashiest players in the game. Well, one day at the video game store, I was looking for more games like NBA Street, and I came across this game called Ballers Phenom. I bought it and a few other games because back then I rarely got video games, so when I did, I bought kind of like a bundle of them. Upon opening the game, I found out not only did I just buy a game, but Ballers Phenom came with an album of music from the game, which is really cool. I don't know any other game that did that, I don't think. There's just a lot of rap and hip-hop artists that made music for this game, and I can't show you any of it because copyright. But look it up, I'm sure somebody uploaded it. And I listened to that CD so much as a kid. So anyway, how is this game? Well, the game is something else. You create your own street baller. The story is you and real street ball player Hot Sauce were like this 2-man group. But Hot Sauce cut you out of a contract, and your girlfriend left you for him. Now there's this week-long basketball event where you're trying to prove you have what it takes to be in the NBA by entering basketball tournaments and trying to get people to like you. It's really cool. There's this world you can explore, shops you can go to, people you can interact with, collectibles to collect. I honestly still like this game even though I'm not really a sports guy anymore. And having like a story and a world really helps with that. There's a lot of mini games too, like these rhythm games and such, and this car wash where the actual car wash song is playing. There's also trivia and strength competitions, free throw shooting, spelling bees, etc. I named my dude Mild Sauce because he was going up against Hot Sauce. Basketball wise, it's almost all one-on-one matches. It's alright. It's about being fancy and scoring and yeah, it's alright. It doesn't stand up to NBA Street or anything, but it's still fun. But it can be hard. And I swear, the bigger the lead, the harder the opponent comes. There's some serious rubber banding to this game to keep the things close. My biggest issue is when you start a game, you have to play each game. What I mean by that is, when you don't play an opponent and you can leave and go do other things. No, you play like a list of like 6 opponents before you can finally stop playing. And you only have a certain amount of continues, so if you fuck up, you gotta start over. And that was, there's this one section where you have a 2-on-2, and honestly that was a lot more enjoyable for me. I wish it was like this more often. Now your ex Kimberly is the worst, but because you started succeeding, she starts flirting with you and trying to have you and Hot Sauce without really telling him.
What up, girl? First soda you brought me had too much ice. Now this one here ain't got enough. Fix it.
There, it's fixed.
Check it, honey. Here's some friendly advice. If you want to go big time, you gotta act big time. Let the help help.
And to me as a kid, a little stupid middle schooler, this told me that showing off and showboating and being successful, that's how you get a girlfriend. Almost like a trophy for being the coolest or the best, which caused me to act like an absolute asshole in life way too much. I'm not blaming the game, I'm blaming my lack of maturity as a child to understand that women aren't 2-dimensional character objects you gain based on something stupid like how good you are at basketball. Like, I wasn't like, oh, let me try to look better, or like, oh, let me be a decent person. No, I was just like, they're gonna love me because I can make a layup. Kimberly's also straight up the worst, and was like a villain who only cared about money, which was totally lost on me as a kid as well. Again, not blaming the game, I'm just embarrassed of how incredibly stupid I was. You're also friends with Ludacris in this game, like the Ludacris, and you end up dating his assistant, which really there was no, like, chemistry there. You just kind of also got her, like, a trophy as well. Again, lost on me as a kid. I can't believe I really expected that, like, because I was good at basketball, people would like have a crush on me. Not even good. Not even like, oh, he's going to pros, or oh, I don't even think I was going to college. Point being, if you're younger and watching this, actually, no matter what age, if you're watching this, women are people, treat them as such, and work on yourself, be the best you can be. I don't even know what to say. Anyway, now Hot Sauce is an asshole for really no reason. Him and Kimberly are constantly trying to screw with your chances. And in weird ways, the first time I played Hot Sauce, I kinda kicked his ass. But then Kimberly flirts with the ref, and then Hot Sauce fakes that I hit him, so the ref ejects me from the game. Despite there being a crowd who would have totally known I didn't do that. They were watching the game. Were all of them watching Kimberly too? That's some bullshit. No one objected. I'm also forced to hang out with Kimberly sometimes, so we went to this Lakers game and she complained about her seats. Then I got to shoot a half-court shot and I made it. We flew on a plane, but all that was a secret from Hot Sauce. And then Hot Sauce gives literally the funniest line in the whole fucking game. I love it so much. I cracked the fuck up.
Said you was having the time of your life yesterday on the plane trip.
Plane trip? Man, you just plain tripping.
We go up against Hot Sauce at the end. He's the final boss, and holy shit, he's so fucking hard. He wasn't so fucking hard before. Why is he so hard now? Anyway, I eventually won. What I really loved about this game, though, was the world you could run around in, the side quests you could do, the stuff you can buy. I don't know any other sports games that had this much side content.
What do you want? Don't come in here! Oh, it's gonna be a while!
Honestly, it's still fun today, but I wouldn't say it's the best PS2 basketball game. That title would go to another. NBA Street Volume 2 was the first game I ever got for the PS2. It came at such an interesting time, too. I was in middle school, I was playing basketball. I wasn't any good at all. But the players I liked were like really flashy ones. Players like Allen Iverson, who at the time was my favorite NBA player. Also at the time there was this thing called And One. And it had like a show on TV, and there was mixtapes, but they also had like shoes, and for the longest time, every pair of shoes I owned were And One. Partially because I wanted And One, and partially because we were poor, and And One was like cheaper in shoes. It was always like either And One or a shoe called Starberries. Those were like my middle school shoes. Either way, I liked And One. And One was the shoes of the street baller, the flashiest players in the game. Players like Hot Sauce, who I actually didn't know until Ballers Phenom. The players I watched the most, whereas there was this tiny white dude called the Professor, and I think he still does stuff on YouTube. And there was this one called Skip to My Lou. Anyway, I really loved Street Vol. I loved the NBA, I just loved basketball in general. Now all that has kind of changed. I'm really not into sports anymore. I don't know if And One is still around or if Street Ball's still like a thing. Well, obviously it's gotta still be a thing, but if it's like a big thing, you know? But one thing I do still come back to, despite not really being a sports guy, is this game. In my opinion, this is the best basketball game ever, or at least out of all the many I've played, this one is my favorite. It really captures the essence of Street Ball. It has big parks where people actually played at, you know? It has a Street Ball announcer. It has sick hip-hop beats. It has really amazing moves. It has fun gameplay. It honestly embodies almost everything that is Street Ball. Almost. The thing it doesn't is the Street Ballers themselves. Now, they did have their own games, and they were kind of trash, so maybe that's why. I really don't know why. But this game is all NBA players, and the Street Ballers who are in this game were created specifically for this game. And this is a little weird, because most Street Ballers were people who did not make it to the NBA, so they kind of did their own thing. So to have NBA players as the main people playing Street Ball is weird, but it's fine. And honestly, the NBA has probably changed a lot since then to be more flashy, maybe, I don't know. It did give us a ton of old school, like, NBA legends, though, which is how I learned about most of them as a kid. And it did allow you to create a character or create a team. And even though customization wasn't the greatest, I love creating characters and shit. They even had women Street Ballers that could play with the dudes, so that makes me happy. That will always make me happy. The game is this sweet mix of, like, NBA Jam, but where trick moves are, like, more important. There's these things called game breakers, and if you get enough of these points from being flashy, you can use the game breaker, and not only will it give you a point, but it can also decrease your opponent's score. This is also the game that taught me what R3 was, because I did not know. PS1 controllers we owned didn't have analog sticks, and the PS2 controllers, I didn't know R3 was a button, basically, and I didn't have the internet to look up R3. It just kept telling me to press R3 to set a pick, and I was like, what the fuck is R3? NBA Street Volume 2 blew the first one away. First one was absolutely fine. It's still a very decent game. But the second one was near perfection. It's challenging, but it's fun, and playing with friends is just straight up a blast. I used to, like, gamble basketball cards when I was young. Like, we would play this game, and we'd bet cards on it, you know? The winner would get those cards or whatever, you know? Also, Shaq was not allowed because he's too overpowered. This sounds weird, but, like, I don't know what's up with him. His stats aren't, like, overpowered. It's just him himself. He'll just knock everyone down, like, all the time. Yeah. Anyway, point is, this is a pretty decent basketball game. Once upon a time, Madden wasn't the only NFL game. They had competition, but since they have a monopoly now, they don't have to try as hard to make good games. Not that they do make good games. They even took away 89 features after Madden 08 and slowly implement them back into the game as if they're somehow adding something new. The quality is garbage. There's a whole video about it over on Soft Drink TV. He makes videos about sports games that are super educational, and I'm not even into sports games, and he had me hooked by his videos. But yeah, way back in 2004, there was still competition. The greatest football game I have ever played, which I don't know if that's saying much, not a big football guy, but there was like a love put into this, you know? And apparently some people agree with me as they hold nostalgia for this football game that came out 19 years ago at the time of writing this. Because 2K5 comes out in 2004. Like, right now it's 2023, so Madden 2024 should be coming out. I assume that they do this to keep it, like, the most up-to-date or something. I really don't know. Anyway, ESPN, NFL, 2K5, what makes it so good? Well, first off, the presentation. There's halftime shows, and if you're playing a season, there's shows about all the teams that played this week. Fans interact, the players interact, each stadium has something unique about it. There are after the game interviews, there are cheerleaders, there are challenges called, and injuries that happen, and little animations for things as small as a first down. Then, leaving all that stuff, you also have your crib, a home where you place your trophies and you decorate your house and you buy shit for your house with points you earn from playing the game. And there's multiple mini games within the house. There's bonus video content. There's like lots of jukebox songs and commentator bloopers. You also have a phone, and you can use it to call celebrities who you've beaten, which is another weird feature, but I do love it. There's celebrities, and they'll call you randomly and challenge you to a game. If you beat them, you unlock them to play against whenever. There's celebrities like Carmen Electra from, I don't really know what she's from, but Steve-O's here from Jackass for some reason, and while he is a very tame, toned-down version of Steve-O, he is still wildly annoying.
Mommy!
And of course, last off, what makes the game great is the gameplay. It just feels better to play than Madden. Players just seem a little more competent in things, and it just handles and plays better. It even has this weird mode I don't recommend because it's so much harder to play this way, but you can play first-person football, which is a crazy level of love they put into this game. Anyway, point is, having a monopoly is bad, and if they had competition, it would force Madden to put care into games again. Because games like 2K5 had love and care put into them, and they wanted you to have a good time and weren't just there for that quick cash grab.